think the most dangerous thing about Barack Obama is the forces he represents. Forces that I think actually have their hand in the whole political elite, economic elite in America. Banks, politicians, other folks. I think Barack Obama is like a number of such people. He is less dangerous for what he is than for what he represents. He's just a body. He's a body without any particular background and who never had any particular clout. And therefore you have to ask, what is it that has suddenly put him in this position? It's because he's not in that position. It's because forces that created him, fabricated him, literally whole cloth, right? And were then able successfully to impose him on the American people, I think with the complicity of people in both parties, are now operating in such a way that through the threat of Barack Obama, they are actually pushing through things Americans would otherwise find intolerable. Mitt Romney, a man with a record that shows the implementation of Obamacare, the coercion of conscience, the implementation of gay marriage, all the things that people love to hate about Barack Obama, including the fact that Mitt Romney has declared that he didn't find any problem with the National Defense Authorization Act and other things. Okay? So all these areas that people are deeply concerned about, Obama's so terrible, Obama's an abuser, Obama made a potential tyrant and all that. And suddenly I'm supposed to believe that the exact same things advocated, implemented, stood for by Mitt Romney don't represent a danger to the country? Now why would this be? The only way this can be true is if I think that Barack Obama is just personally bad. It's not his policies I oppose, and so forth and so on. That's a lie. I, at least, don't pretend to know Barack Obama well enough to decide whether as an individual person I like him, dislike him, I don't know. And frankly, in public policy terms, I don't care. I look at what the man stands for and what he's doing to the country, what his policies stand for, and what they are doing to the country, and I say no. And so if Mitt Romney comes along and I look in his background and I see a tendency to implement the same policies, which will have the same deadly effect on the country, stand for the same positions, how am I supposed to tell you or anybody else that I prefer Romney? On what grounds would I prefer Romney? It makes no sense to me. I don't see how people of conscience can do this. I see the same policies, I shall oppose them in the same way. And if I did not, it would mean that I cared more for personalities than I do for the good of my country. And I refuse to do that. People died rather than do that. Don't we understand that there were Americans who once gave their lives because they thought that the good of the country was more important than pleasing personalities? We don't have that in us anymore? Because I think we better. If we want to be a free people, then we better rediscover it. And so, no. I look at Romney and I see that there's one salient difference, though. Romney has already implemented bad policies, destructive policies, in the context of Massachusetts, that Obama has been unable to implement because he's met with such strong resistance. Now let me see. If you put Romney in and he's wearing a Republican label and a conservative cachet, right, that's going to silence a certain element of the opposition to those things, and he will be able to get them through. Why is it that people think that the guy who is failing to get them through is the greater evil, and the guy committed to the same policies who may be able to get them through is the lesser evil?